So, y'all know I'm back with another story time. So, let's get into it. So, this story took place not too long ago. This is more recent than my other stories. So, we finna get into it. So, I was looking for a job at this time because I had just got let go at another one of my jobs I used to work at. So, I was looking around shopping for a job. Finally found one. It was working at this grocery store, right? So I'm working at the grocery store, and it's cool. Ain't doing nothing. First when I first started, they had me like cause it's like a little restaurant inside the store. So they had me working at the restaurant where I was taking, the people money, cashing them out after they get their food. I scan it or whatever they pay. They going about their merry way or they finish shopping. But then it happened to where they was doing a remodel, so we couldn't work back there and scan the food, so we had to become cashiers. So we was cashiers for like I think a month, and I really like doing cashiering too. That was fun. But then they moved us back once the restaurant reopened. They moved us back or whatever, and then they like hired a couple of new people, like like the old people in the restaurant. They like left. They like never came back. And this was during like COVID time too, so that was crazy. So they was hiring new people to cover the people that had left permanently. So I see, new faces are coming in or whatever, so they doing nothing. So this girl, what can we name her? We're gonna give her a name because this story is about her. So Snow Bunny. So Snow Bunny, she was cool. Like we clicked and we linked or whatever. But then like we didn't like see each other too much because like she worked in the back of the restaurant like making the food, and then I was more so like the server and the cashier for that part, so I was at the front. But we'll come and we'll see each other here and there. But there was another cashier that I was cool with, and we could call her Mrs. Puff. So me and Mrs. Puff, we up there in the front because she did the same thing that I did, because it was like two registers, so it was able to, like, when it gets busy, we can have like two lanes open or whatever. So we kind of clicked. We got close too. Like she was like a vibe to be with. Like she was so sweet, and like we just used to talk, chit chat it up. So every now and again, Snow Bunny would come up there, and she'll like say, hey, how y'all doing? Talk to us. We'll just talk about like our day and how it's going, and just a little coworker talk, like nothing too much. So then it was like this other girl, we gonna call her Megan. So Megan was working with us too up front, but she would do both. She'll do like back and forth, but she was one of the ones that thought she was just too cute. And on top of that, she was like a rich girl. She was well off, but her parents wanted her to get a job so she can, get the feel of like working for your own. But she at the same time she was still daddy little princess type. And so I didn't like really hold that against her, but she showed her actions. Like I think I was the oldest out of everybody, so I was like more mature. So little stuff like she would say or do would like bother like either Mrs. Puff or even Snow Bunny. Like it would bother them. And then next thing I know, because Mrs. Puff and Megan was like kind of close, and like they'll hang out or whatever. And then like I think like this guy, he worked there too, and Megan was liking on him, and then they ended up talking and like going out, and they did like a kind of like a double date with like um Mrs. Puff and her guy. So they did like that, and they would hang out from time to time. But all of a sudden, one day, they just stopped talking. I don't know why, but they just stopped talking, y'all. Um, so I never knew like what was the reason why they stopped talking, but the relationship with them all died down. And so then one day, I think Mrs. Puff wasn't there, and then Snow Bunny was like, so what's up with Megan and Mrs. Puff? Like, why are they not clicking like they used to? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. That's the them issue, but I have noticed. And she was like, well, from what I know, Mrs. Puff is probably tired because, she have to work and stuff like that when the whole time Daddy Little Princess Megan, she don't understand the struggle and the hardship, and, she's worried about college and, living her best life while we are just, average working people. Something like that could be it, I don't know. So we go on about our day or whatever, and so did, I guess, like, eventually they just became enemies. And the reason why is just because it was true that Mrs. Puff, she wasn't here for it. She was just tired of, like, you get everything handed to you while the rest of us have to work. And then Megan felt like, you shouldn't hold that against me. I'm still a good friend. And she was like, no, you're not a good friend because you the guy that works with us, you like him, but you're screwing on his best friend. Huh? So I'm like, oh, so that's the tea. So that's what's going on. Okay, so she's a homie hopper. And I think it was a case where Megan tried to flirt with Mrs. Puff guy, but that's not here or there. So that was they like little debacle or whatever, why they didn't get into it. So another day go past, and Snow Bunny was like, hey, I got these tickets, because this around the time where it was October. It was like, Halloween time. So people started doing Halloween stuff. So she was like, I got these tickets to this, like, there's a hayride, this creepy hayride. Y'all, we had a ball. So we was like, okay, we down. We gonna go. We all gonna go together. So me and Mrs. Puff was like, okay, we'll link up and go together because Snow Bunny was going with her boyfriend at the time. And so then she was like, yeah, me and my boyfriend got these tickets. Y'all want to go? We got, 2 extras. And we was like, okay, we down. So the night come, we get all decorated, for the thing, the little, like, theme. If I could find a picture, then I'll insert, like, how I looked or whatever. And so then we just all went and we had a ball, y'all. Like, we had a ball. So then, like, after that, we thought we was gonna be like clicking up and stuff like that. But then, like, me and like Snow Bunny started to get more closer because, like, we started hanging out. Like, after the Halloween thing, we just started hanging out and like going to go get food. Like, she took me to like the different places around the city that I ain't like never like been to, and like we like related off that because she was like really, she was a foodie and I'm a foodie too, so we was everywhere. So I wouldn't want to say, I don't think that Mrs. Puff got jealous or anything, because she knew, like, because we hung out, but we didn't hang out as much as me and Snow Bunny. So now it gets to the point where she's like noticing that Snow Bunny is like taking the attention away. So she was just like, one day she was just talking. She was like, y'all are pretty close now, huh? And I'm like, yeah, we cool or whatever. And she was just like, well, I don't know. It just seems like every time I get close to somebody, Snow Bunny wants to get close to them too, and then she drives a wedge between it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to say like, cause she haven't did that with us, but just keep an eye out. And I'm just like, why would you say that? Turns out that the reason how Mrs. Puff found out everything about like how Megan is liking on this one dude, but she's actually, them dating his friend or whatever, even though she went out with the dude at her job, the whole time they friends. And so she was like, I found out through her, through Snow Bunny. Like, Snow Bunny told me, like, oh, she came here with another guy, and then I seen the guy that we work with and him together, and they was friends. So she's messing around with both of them. So then Megan pretty much was like, well, I'm just gonna have fun. That's what I'm doing. I'm young and I want to have fun. I don't plan on being with nobody or none of that stuff. So I just want to have fun. And so it then she had told her, like, well, I done seen her flirting with your guy that come in here and pick you up from time to time, or that y'all went out with. She ended up finding him on Instagram or Facebook, something like that. So then she was just like, oh, and so that's why Mrs. Puff, like, backed off Megan, because nobody told her all this information. Because one thing about Megan, she talks, and she don't know who she's talking to, and she says too much. So I'm just like, oh, well, that's crazy or whatever. So then it gets to the point where, so she was like, I think that might be happening with us. It's like she's trying to come between us and y'all be more friends. Like, I don't know if it's like she wants to just be a part of every clique, or she just has something against me. And I'm like, oh no, Mrs. Puff, I don't think that's it, because we all went out together, we all hung out together. Like, I think she like us, she always speak to the both of us. She chit chat with both of us. She was like, yeah, I could just be overreacting or whatever. So then it got to the point where time moves on, and like we start getting even closer. But now Mrs. Puff, she just don't want to hang out with like us. Like, even though she said she would, she was just like, no, because now she know that Snow Bunny's a little messy, and she kind of like fell back. And so time goes on. So now it gets to the point where one day she asks, this is Snow Bunny, I'm finna, normally Mrs. Puff will give me a ride home, but she couldn't this day because she had to do some things with her mom. Totally understand that. I don't mind getting on the bus, taking a lift, taking a cab. I don't mind. But I was gonna take the bus, but then Snow Bunny was like, oh, my boyfriend is here, and you met him or whatever. We can take you home. So I said, cool, go ahead. So they dropped me off, but then she was like, oh, do you mind if I come in and I could change it to my work uniform? Because, like, as I was getting off of work, they was coming. She was finna come to work, but they came like an hour early, so like he can eat lunch and like they can sit and talk and spend time with each other. So they came like early, and so then they was like, we have time to drop you off, but once I get back to work, I have to like immediately clock in. I don't got time to change. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, change or whatever. So she came in. She was like, oh, your place is nice. This is a nice place. I'm like, yeah, it's me. And at the time, my fiance he was my boyfriend. So I'm like, yeah, it's me and my boyfriend. And she was like, this is nice. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, oh, you have, a 2-bedroom. I'm like, yeah, this is my baby room. That's where that's where my baby sleep. So she like, oh, this is nice. And I'm like, I'm trying to get her in her room and more comfortable in her room, because at the time my baby wanted to sleep with us, and then her brother was in her room. So her brother was there, but I think this time he had went out of town, so she didn't get a chance to see my son. So he was out of town. So so the room was like, yeah, it don't look really girlish. And I'm like, yeah, because my son is in here, my daughter sleep with us at the moment. And so then she was like, oh, okay, now I see. And so then she was like, yeah, nice compliment. She changed her clothes, she got up out of here. So I want to say some time passed, we linked up again, and this time it was me, her guy, and we was like going out to get something to eat, regular clockwork type. And then all of a sudden they get to like driving around and looking at spots. And then I'm like, oh, you guys are thinking about moving? So she like, yeah, we're thinking about moving because I want to get out of my mom's house. And he has a house, but it's so old and run down. We need something new, a fresh start. So I said, I totally understand that. And I'm like, that's how I feel. I kind of want to move from where I'm at. And so then she like, oh, but your place is so nice. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to move somewhere else so I can have, my kids can have more room, and me and my fiance can have more room. Like, it'll just be better, our own little space. And so then she was like, oh, well, are you going to start looking? When is your lease up? So I told her my lease is up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we're going to start looking real soon. I could start looking now. Fast forward to another time. Okay, so fast forward, right? We go out again. We go out, eat again, same stuff. But they looking for, a place after we get done eating. So then they pulled to this apartment building. Well, it was more like a duplex, I want to say. Oh, no, I think it was a house. It was a house, but the way it was set up, it was nice. So we go there, and she was like, do you like this house we pulled up? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice. If this is something that y'all want to do and get a fresh start to it, this would be nice. Y'all, next thing you know, she opened her mouth and she was like, you right, this would be good. But I was also thinking maybe all of us can roommate together and just live together in one big house. And I'm like, who? Because, like, I already have my family. Like, we're a family of 4. And y'all a family of 2. So that's 4, 5, 6 of us in one house. How would that work? So she like, let's do a house tour before. Like, she didn't even answer my question. And so then she was like, let's do a house tour. So we go through the house tour, whatever. And we meet the guy. And so the house was nice, y'all. Like, it was nice. And so then she was like, yeah, like, you guys can be up here and we can have the basement, like the way she's talking, y'all, you'll think they already saw this house before and they already had it in plan that they was like, we can just become like a full house or something. Like, they try to do some like full house type shit.
That's very sweet.
And I'm like, me and my family, like, y'all cool, but we already got what we got going on. I said I wanted to move, but I didn't say I wanted to move with you. And so she was just like, yeah, this is nice. We can have like the dogs back here because they had dogs. She was like, the dogs have a nice area to play, and then your kids have a nice area where they can come out and do what they do, and then like we can come through the back and like at nighttime because y'all work day shifts and then we work nights. So it's like when we come back home, like we can just come through the back. Like they had this shit planned, y'all. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. And I didn't want to say too much because, I'm just like, And so then I'm just like, well, maybe, I'll bring it up to my boyfriend. We'll see, just to end it. And she was like, yeah, take pictures and show him because if you guys are looking to move and we're looking to move, we might as well move together. Mind y'all, I only been knowing this girl for like 2 to 3 months. Like, I don't know you, honey. Like, no. And so then she was like, I was, like, before you had mentioned, like, you was going to move, I was going to see if we could move with you guys because, remember the night, because it was one night that her and her boyfriend had came over and we had dinner together. And she was like, that night, remember that night that we had came over and had dinner? And I was going to see, like, if y'all felt like renting out that second extra room you had. Honey, it was not a second extra room. That's my kids' room. What are you talking about? That is already, what? And so then she was like, yeah, but then when we talked and you said you're thinking about moving and finding a new space too, then I just thought about it like we all could just move and get a big spot together. And you guys got y'all vehicle and we got ours. We could work out parking with the garage and stuff like that. Like they had a whole plan, y'all. And the whole time her boyfriend is going along like, yeah, this would be a good idea. Like, yeah, this space here because like, oh my God, you see my house and you'll be like, you'll be ready to come and move and come over here because my house is just a dump and this would be a nice fresh start. Woo woo. So I'm just like, yeah, no thank you. No thank you. And then like he was a dog breeder too. So like, he'll have to breed the dogs, make the puppies, sell the puppies. That's just too much. Like, no, that's something that, and at the time my baby was like tiny. Like my baby was only like maybe a few years old. Like, no, like my son always been older than my daughter, so I don't have to worry about him dealing with dogs. But her being around, and he didn't do no chihuahuas. He had pit bulls. And so now my little baby being around, no, like I don't have nothing against. I love all dogs. I even love pitties. It's all how you raise them, but they have that instinct. And babies, now I see if like she would have grew up with them, That's different. But she didn't grow up with these dogs. I don't even know where you got these damn dogs from. I'm okay. I'm okay. And so then, she was just like, so yeah, just go over and talk to him. I took pictures. I'll send you pictures, and then you just show him. So I did kind of like bring it up as a joke to my fiance. Y'all, he said he laughed and said, hell no, we got our own stuff. We're good where we're at, and when if we do find a new spot to move to, we gonna find it. It's just gonna be us. Period. So I'm just like, yeah. So then I want to say this happened maybe about 2 more times where we go out and then we go see a place and they try to act like it's for them but it's for us type stuff. And they got to the point where I was like, you know what, we're not gonna move, we're just gonna stay where we're gonna stay at, and that's gonna be that. And then it's like, once I like made that statement, like things just kind of took like a turn, because like Snow Bunny was really trying to get out of her mom's house, which I don't understand, because her mom was one of the moms that do everything for her. And it's just like, it's always the people with the good moms, or the moms that try their best, that treat their mom like shit. I don't understand. And so she like the dynamic kind of shifted. Like we was still hanging out, but it wasn't so much, right? So she was, now a little backstory with her and her guy. So her and her guy been together for like some time. He was significantly older than her. Like I think she had just made like 21, and he was like damn near 50. If he was, I think he was probably already in his 50s. And so at one point he was staying with her at the mom's house, and the mom didn't know that they was messing around and ended up messing around, and then he moved. And so then when he said like, I got my house, you could come move in with me, but it's a fixer-upper. So it was just so bad to where like she was like, yeah, I can't move in here. Like I can't move in here. If we gonna move together, we gonna do it right. But he still had ties with his home, so it was kind of like awkward. And then for some reason his family really didn't too much care for her. I don't know why, but they just didn't too much care for her. And so, but like he was like making big money when they first met. Like he was a truck driver, he was making big money. He was able to get her new car, and he was able to get his new car and stuff like that. But then he had to retire from that, and so then he ended up picking up a local driving truck job or whatever. And so that's what he was doing. And like for some reason his family made it seem like she was a gold digger, because he had bought her a car, he would give her money, he would take her out. Like it was just like, and then like he had like children, so his family was like, you're doing everything for her, but what about the children? And from what I know, he was trying to do the best that he could, but it was the mothers that was taking him through hell while he couldn't see his kids or do nothing for his children. So that's the story that I got. So they was like been dating secretly under her family eyes, but they was publicly dating in his people eyes, and his people did not like that at all. They did not like her. They just feel like she was using him for his money. And she was just like, no, I love him, I love him, I love him. So like we're like going out, we're having a good time. He was a real nice person, y'all. And then like one day we had went to the amusement park, and he didn't want to get on none of the rides. He was just like, no. And she was like, that's not like him, because normally he wants to ride on all the rides. Like, we do this. Like, I don't understand. But he did not go on none of the rides at all. And so it was just me and her riding. Now I had my youngest with me at the time, so he would watch my youngest while we go on rides. And they had a ball. Like he was buying like my baby ice cream and little toys. He wanted her stuffed animal. Like it was a good time. We had a good time. And so then, but she was just like, that's odd. And so then I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to get on that day. Maybe he just wanted us to have fun. She was like, yeah, that's kind of what he said. But I know him. Like, I know. And I'm like, I do understand, because I'm with my man. If my man don't want to do something, I pretty much, it's a reason to it, and I know if it's something that he likes to do. So I say about y'all, after we come back from like the amusement park that day, I say maybe like a week or two later, I get a phone call from Snow Bunny and she is bawling in tears. And I'm just like, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, I can barely understand you or whatever. And then she was just like, he's gone. He's gone. So rest in peace to her boyfriend, y'all. He passed away while he was at work. And it really hurt her. And so then it was just like, it really hurt her. So, as a friend, I'm there for her. I'm trying to see her through it. I kid y'all not. Like, they settled things, like, with the family, because, like, his last paycheck went to her. But then the family tried to get that back. But then he had put her down as if something, happened to me, she'll get my money and my family will get what I have left to give type stuff. So he had that set up. So she's battling with them. And like, she got what she got, and then her car was end up, like, when she had got the proof or whatever that he was gone, she got the car and all that. And so she let the family keep the house, and then she ended up taking one dog, and then they took the rest of the dogs. So she had to go, like, because she was back and forth between her mom's house and his house. And so then now she had to go back to her mom's house. So I want to say like maybe a week after he passed, or not even that. Okay, I'll give it a month. A month after he passed, right? She started like really acting like distant. So I'm like, maybe she just needs some time. So we back at work now. This is like crazy because now Mrs. Puff is like, oh, I heard what happened. How's she been? And I'm like, oh, she's dealing with it. I don't know. And I'm like, she did come to work today, but I haven't been talking to her. She's been in the back. And so then she was like, yeah, and also Megan is in the back too. And then I guess the guy that Megan liked that worked at the job, now he don't work there no more. So he had just came to come. No, yes he do. I'm sorry. He still do work there. Because I got into it with him, with all of them, because I'm out there busting my ass and they're inside the restaurant by the bar just chilling and having a good time. And so Snow Bunny, she pops out, she's back and forth, and I'm just like, are they working in there? She like, no, they're not working, they're just running their mouth. And I'm like, that's crazy. So then she goes back in there. Next thing you know, here comes Megan, like, do you need anything? Do you need any help or anything? Like, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I pretty much got everything out here fine. How is it inside of the restaurant? Because where we were as cashiers ringing up people for their food, like, we was like outside of the restaurant, because they'll have like it was like a restaurant, and then they'll have like mini foods. Like next to the restaurant, it was like a sushi bar, it was a Chinese spot, it was like a soul, kind of like a chicken spot. Like they sold like fried chicken and like macaroni, like a soul food like little spot. Like it was them next to the restaurant. So we are outside of the restaurant because we have to ring up the people from the spots next to it. Like, if you want to go get sushi, you'll come to us and we'll ring you up. If you want to go get the Asian food or Chinese food, whatever I say, if you want to go get that, then you'll go get that, and then you'll come to us. And then the people in the restaurant, when they order, they'll order with us, but then they'll go sit down, and then the restaurant, the waitress will bring out the food to them. So, but under the company, as we all supposed to work together, like the outside where we're at ringing up people, it was like a little dining area too, so we had to keep that clean. And then on the inside of the restaurant, we had to keep the inside of the restaurant clean. So I'm telling Megan, I'm like, I got everything out here, how is the restaurant looking? So the restaurant, she was like, it's fine, we got it, it's 3 of us in there, but it seemed like you need us out here, but everything do look fine. But if you're complaining, then, and I'm like, I didn't complain. I never complained to the boss. I didn't complain to you. So she was like, okay, it didn't dawn on me, right? So she goes back into the restaurant. And so when she goes back into the restaurant, I'm just like, that was weird. So then next thing you know, here comes the guy that she was sleeping with. And so then he comes out, and he comes and like pick up, and he looks around. He was like, well, everything is done. Like, he didn't say it, but the look on his face is like, he looked around and was like, okay, everything's done. And why is she complaining? So I'm like, somebody must have told them something. It's not Mrs. Puff, because Mrs. Puff at the time, she was like with me, and she was only go to like to pick up like plates, like to serve people, to give them an extra hand. And so I knew it wasn't her. And so then I'm just like, okay. So then now he goes back in there, right? So now I have to go to the bathroom. So when I have to wait until someone else is right there, because I just can't leave. So eventually, when she's done helping them serve the guests, Mrs. Puff comes back out there with me. I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. So when I go to the bathroom, like, I just noticed like all of them, because it was Megan, the guy she was messing around with, her boyfriend, and another girl that used to work there, but she don't work there no more. That's who I got confused. So they're all in there, and they're like looking at me. You can just feel as that you walk past, like, they're looking at me. I know it. So I go to the bathroom. I come back, and when I come back, I notice that Snow Bunny is standing right there, but she's not saying nothing. And so then when I go back and Miss Puff, I'm like, you see how Snow Bunny is just like, was she in there with them and all that? She was like, no, she was in the kitchen. And then she did pop out up here. I'm like, yeah, she talked to me. And then she was like, yeah, when she came back in there, she was standing by the bar, but I don't know if she said something to them, because she was just standing there. And then when she went back in the kitchen, they called her a weirdo for just standing there. So I don't know. So I'm just like, okay. So then, as I'm like finna clock out now my shift is over, I'm finna clock out. Next thing you know, Snow Bunny calls me, and she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at the time clock, I'm finna clock out and go home. So she like, girl, they're in here, because they're in here talking cash stuff. Like, they're just talking like, oh, how is she complaining, and everything's done, and she's just mad because we're not talking to her, and we're better than her, and that's why I don't like working with black people. And I said, that's all I heard was, what? You don't like working with who? I said, okay. I said, hold on, let me clock out. So when I clocked out, I go back over there, right? So I'm like, if any one of y'all got something to say, y'all can say that to me to my face. I don't know where y'all got this I was complaining stuff from, but I didn't complain nothing. I'm just doing my job as usual. And whoever said they don't like working with black people, I want you to step to the front, because I can tell y'all that y'all not the best people to work with either. And so then they're just standing there looking at me all weird. Now I'm looking like the crazy black person, because now I'm coming in there, I'm on 10. Snow Bunny's nowhere to be found. Mrs. Puff is nowhere to be found. But then she does pop up, because she was like, Miss Puff pops up, and she was like, girl, I thought you was getting up out of here. And I'm like, I was, but apparently these racist people that we work with had something to say. And so then she was like, oh my God. So I just left. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, F this job, F y'all. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of the bull crap. And I left. And so we'll get to whatever. After that, I basically quit the job, y'all. Ain't nothing else to tell after that. So then, like I say, I want to say like an hour or two later, because I was finna go on a trip. And I was finna, at the time, yeah, me and Nikki was finna link up and go on a trip with each other. So I'm like, I gotta get ready, because my homegirl is finna hit me up, and we finna go and get ready for our road trip. Because I said, like I said, me and Nikki, we used to travel back and forth. So I'm like, we finna go on our trip. I ain't got time. So I leave or whatever. So I get a phone call. So then it's Mrs. Puff, and Mrs. Puff was like, girl, Snow Bunny started all that drama. I said, what? She said, yes, don't tell her I told you. But remember, like I said, she's a shit starter because she started something between me and Megan. Then she went in there and tried to start something between you and Megan. I told you to watch her. Like, I told you definitely watch her because she do shit like that. Now you done walked off, and I talked to each and every last one of them, and they said they never say anything about being black or working with a black person or nothing like that. So I don't know where that came from. So I said, oh. So I'm like, who called you and told you that? Or how did you find out? Did you walk past and hear something? I'm saying, yeah, I got a phone call from somebody. And so then she was like, yeah, be careful, girl. So I said, okay, thank you, whatever. So it's like, oh, okay. So then I'm like, so we was cool, but then, like, when I say we was cool, y'all, me and Snow Bunny started hanging out like every day. Like every day, faithfully. Like we was like, you'll think that we was yin and yang. We was like, she'd be like, look, I'm off work, or you off work, what we gonna do? We finna get out here, we finna go driving. Like we will go everywhere. We'll go shopping together, we'll go food shopping, clothes shopping. She'll buy me stuff, I'll buy her stuff. Like she'll take us out to dinner and treat us, and then we'll all go out to dinner together. And then like once I told her like, no, we're not finna move in with y'all, then all that stopped. We stopped seeing her, we stopped hearing from her like that. Then when the situation happened when her boyfriend passed, we got back close because you know I was there, I knew him. So and at the time, you know, we was cool. And then one thing I didn't peep is like she had another friend, and that friend was basically acting distant towards her. But I never understood why until now. I know why that friend is distant towards her. And so I'm just like puzzled that she would do that. And I'm just like, oh, so now that I made it official that we're not moving in and now your boyfriend is gone, you have no choice. Now you finna show your true colors. So now you finna start some shit at the job. So I quit or whatever. I go on my trip. I ain't let that shit bother me. I come back from my trip. So now I'm like, I gotta look for a new job. So she ended up like in the mix of that time, I think, because we was only gone for like a week. When I took my trip, yeah, I was gone for a week, then we came back. So then 2 weeks later, she quit the job. So then she ended up getting hired at this other place. And she was like, yeah, you should come work with me. Like, I can pick you up and woo. And I'm like, I don't want to put that in your hands. Like, putting my life in your hands to, like, to debate if I'm going to go to work or not. I don't have time for that. So I'm like, that's too far. I'm okay. I'm going to find something. Because now at the time, we didn't have our vehicle. So I'm like, we'll be okay. So I'm like, I'm going to find something here or whatever, and closer to my area. So she was like, oh, okay. So then I never told her that Mrs. Puff told me what happened until like maybe she watched this video and she figured out who's who. But I never told her that Mrs. Puff told me what happened. And so I just kept that in the back of my head, right? So I want to say like, okay, that happened. Now when we get to where we're at now, I guess her boyfriend might have been gone for like a month now. And all of a sudden, you know, she get a phone call because I want to say it was my birthday. Yeah, I think it was my birthday, and she bought me a gift for my birthday. And so then I was like, oh, thank you. And then when she told me, she was like, girl, so you remember such and such from the old job we used to work at? I'm like, yeah. And she was like, remember her son had bought one of our puppies? I said, yeah. So she was like, I went to go visit the puppy and see how the puppy was doing. And then she told me that her son liked me. And she been told me this when I was dating my boyfriend, but I told her I'm dating somebody. So I'm like, okay. So then she was like, but I don't know how to feel about him. And I'm like, just give us some time. You just got out of a relationship, you know, due to circumstances. You need time to heal. She was like, yeah, but I already screwed him like the other night.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Cause I'm just putting myself in that situation. Like, if my man, Lord forbid, something happened to my man, I don't know. I'm not thinking about no other man, no other. I'm no. There. He's only been gone a month. There's no way that I would want even be thinking about any other guy, and let alone screw him. So I'm just like, well, you grown, do what you want. And she was like, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna go nowhere. So I just came to drop you off a gift, and I'll see you later. Unfazed. So I'm like, was the family right? Because it's given that the family was right. So then I want to say fast forward 2 weeks from that. And so now it's getting like in like the winter time, because yeah, now it's getting to the winter time. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna give a gift for you guys for Christmas. I said, okay, yeah, you come through, because we got a gift for you too. We're gonna do gifts exchange. So she come over, give us the gift or whatever. Then she drop another bombshell, like, so I met somebody new. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Where did you meet him at? And she was just like, oh, I met him at I don't know where she met this guy at. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all or try to remember. I don't know, but she met this guy somewhere. And so then she was like, oh yeah, he's real cool and he's nice and blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, so this is Christmas. We all know when Christmas is, right? So we're in Christmas. That same year of that Christmas, she was there for my kids' birthdays. My kids' birthdays are in the same month. They was born in different days, but they the same month. So she was there, right? So this is the same year. Now we get to Christmas. Now, you know, New Year's happened. Now it's a new year. So Christmas Day was the last day we seen and talked to her. I ain't not talked to this girl from then to like my baby's birthday, and that's me in summertime. So that's like a good 6 months, no contact. All of a sudden, she pop up and she like have an announcement on like the internet and says, I'm having a baby. Huh? So you moved on that fast? Because if you think about it, by the time she dropped the news, she was already 3 months. So that means what, December, January, you got pregnant? Cause you got pregnant. So I'm like, whoa, okay. So she dropped that bombshell. So I'm like, she did move on pretty fast. So it's like, yeah, really giving his family was right not to like you and that you was using him because you just moved on too fast, baby. But everybody grieve different. Maybe this is a part of her grieving and she didn't know what to do. So she needed, So I'm like, okay, well, congratulations. You're finna be a mama bear. Woo woo. And so then after that, didn't hear from her December. She made her announcement in February. Still didn't hear nothing from her. And then when it got to my baby birthday, I'm like, so she was like, oh, I know the baby's birthday coming up. I'm like, yeah, do you want to be a part of it this year? She like, of course. I'm the godmama, so I gotta be there. So I'm like, okay, I never told her that. That came out of her own mouth. So we end up making plans for the birthdays. Do you know I didn't get a phone call, contact, or nothing? Like, we talked the month before the birthdays, because remember I said my baby's birthdays are in the same month. So we had that situation, and we talked about it the month before. Didn't hear nothing, y'all. Next thing you know, I get an invitation off the internet to come to a baby shower. No contact, y'all. I don't know the guy who she's dealing with now. And it's crazy because when I finally seen the guy who she was dating, he looks like another version of her boyfriend. Yes, her boyfriend was like kind of heavy set. So the new guy that she with now looks like a smaller version of him. I'm just like, yeah, she has a type. And yes, he's older than her too. So she basically, long story short, she was just trying to find a way out her mama's house. And once it didn't work with him, Then she tried to use it to be with us, and then after it didn't work with us, then she was like kind of flaky. And then after that, once he passed, it was just like, well, screw it all. I need to just still find a way out my mom's house. And lo and behold, she found the way out of her mom's house dealing with dude, that her child's father. And so then I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to make the baby shower because I work and stuff like that. And so then she was like, I understand. And I'm just like, girl, like, you didn't personally invite me. Like, this is like, you're putting it up on your, on the internet for everyone to see. So it's like, that's crazy. No personal invite, no nothing. So it's like, whatever. So I didn't like really too much go. And so then we ended up just not talking like that no more. And then I want to say, maybe after the baby being here for like maybe a year or two, then we linked up and went to dinner one night. And then she was just expressing like the issues that they going on, which that's not my business to tell, but she was just, telling me about stuff. And it's just like, to me, it just seemed like you was trying to get out your mama house so bad, and you got out that house, and now you in a situation that you really don't want to be in by moving too fast. When there was nothing wrong with being with your mom or nothing. You just don't want to do what your mom tells you to do to the house and around the house because you feel like you're grown. And it's like, yeah, you are grown, but if you living with somebody, even if you are grown, you got to go by their rules. You got to go by what they say. And if you don't like it, then you can find your own, what she did, but she found it the wrong way, trying to move too fast. And now she's in a situation also with the baby involved, and it's like crazy. So yeah, so then like we haven't really been talking like that. Like, I might see her once in a blue moon. She might pop up or whatever. And the only reason how we ended up going to dinner is because she popped up at my job. And she was like, yeah, we got to get together. And she kind of looped me into that. But then after that, nothing, y'all. We ain't talked nothing. So I don't know what that situation was with her or what, but yeah. It's crazy how people can call themselves your friend, but they have a hidden agenda why they want to be your friend or what. So it's like, I really just stay to myself, y'all. That's why I don't have friends like that. I just stay to myself because people are weird. And I just wanted to drop that little story time. And yes, like I have more stories with Snow Bunny, but I just wanted to give y'all the introduction. Like, my last few story times that I had put on my page or whatever, they all have like, you'll hear more about these people in my story times, but the first story is just introductions of these people and stuff like that. But that was it. That's it, y'all. I just wanted to come up here and rant a little bit, but now it's time for me to put the tree in the paper and go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. So I'll see y'all on my next one. I love y'all, babies. Peace out.